Hey friends, glad to see you on the channel. Today we have something truly unique for you. Don't miss the chance to see America through the eyes of those who lived through its transformation. These lost footage, hidden for decades, will reveal unknown chapters of history. 1870 to 1920, a time of change, struggle, and triumph. The story of a country where everything was possible is now coming to life right before your eyes. Hit play, dive into the unique moments that were hidden from generations. America from 1870 to 1920, a country in motion. It grows, changes, pulses with life. Imagine where there were once empty lots, now stand steel giants, buildings reaching into the sky. Workers high above the streets build skyscrapers, sitting on beams during lunch, chatting about life. No insurance, just steel, height, and a dream. The streets are noisy. Carriages, the first automobiles, newsboys shouting, the smell of roasted chestnuts. The city is alive. And so are the ones who've just stepped off the steamships. Millions of immigrants with suitcases, children, and hope passed through Ellis Island. Some fled war, others hunger. But here, there is a chance. In New York, Chicago, Boston, cramped apartments, multilingual markets, exhausting work in factories. But the children are already running through the streets, playing baseball, speaking English. They are the future. Life bustles even in the wealthy neighborhoods. Gentlemen in top hats, ladies in gloves, cafes, shop windows, newspapers, theaters. Everything is new. Electricity, telephones, elevators. Streetcars clatter, trains carry people westward, and steamships head for new shores. The air is filled with the spirit of change. America, in those years, was a land of contrast. The wealth of Rockefeller and Carnegie side by side with the poverty of working-class neighborhoods, the laughter of children and the burden of child labor. But above all, one great idea. Here, you can start over. You can see it in the photographs. Faces full of determination, worn but alive. Workers, women, children, sailors, builders, street vendors. They didn't know they were living through history. But now we can look into their eyes and feel it. This is America, rough, noisy, real, a country just beginning to believe that anything is possible. Picture yourself standing at a New York intersection in 1905. The smell of fresh bread, the clatter of hoofs on cobblestones, steam rising from street grates, the world around you, like a movie with no script. Everything is real, crowds everywhere. Some rushing to the port, others to the factory. A man in a long coat and bowler hat is buried in his newspaper. Nearby, a woman with a basket of apples is selling on a corner. Kids dart by with papers under their arms, shouting headlines. Strike on the Brooklyn Bridge, or automobile hits a horse. Everyone is part of the movement. America at this time doesn't stand still for a second. Factories smoke. Plants run around the clock. People bustle through the streets. Ships dock in ports. Railways whistle on the horizon. This is a country building itself before your very eyes. The rise of skyscrapers isn't just about architecture. It's a gesture, a bold "we can." Buildings soar higher than anyone imagined. Workers, many fresh off the boat, learn to handle steel and rivets. Their hands are rough, strong, calloused. Their lives are hard but full of purpose. They know this isn't just a job. It's the future. In poor apartments, where 10 people share a single sink, children are born who will grow up to become doctors, lawyers, artists. Mothers stir soup over coal stoves. Fathers return home after dark exhausted. But every evening they sit together and dream. This is our chance. In the West, cowboys, gold seekers, trains carving paths through the desert. In the East, booming cities, the first movie theaters, signs that read Thomas Edison Presents. Crowds gather in the streets to hear the sounds of a phonograph. It's magic. And everywhere, women, more and more of them, on the streets, in offices, in newspapers. They demand to be heard. Suffragette marches, slogans, protests. In 1920, they win the right to vote. Not because it was given, but because they claimed it. Now, picture a street at night. Lamps glow a warm yellow. Somewhere in the distance, music plays. Teenagers dance in an alley. Someone leaves on a train. Someone greets the sunrise at the pier. This is life. Imperfect, difficult, but real. America from 1870 to 1920 wasn't just a country. It was a feeling, a people who believed they could do anything, even when the whole world said no. And when we look at those old photographs, in their faces, their clothes, their posture, we can still feel it, strength, spirit, and quiet hope. America before 1920 is not just a country. It is the flesh and blood of everyone who built their destiny there. It was like a bridge across the rivers of history, connecting dreams with reality. Every brick carries the labor, every street, the steps of those who once chose America as their new home. Industry grew. Factories never stopped. Plants operated around the clock. And people, tired but proud, rode home on railroads, passing by new buildings, new opportunities. Every family had one great wealth, hope. This hope flowed from hard-working hands, from mistakes and victories. On the streets of New York, there were people in suits and dresses, yet to know automobiles, revolutions, or World War I, but already ready for new discoveries. The city was full not only of the noise of wagons, but also of a new sound, jazz. This music didn't just fill clubs, it became the soundtrack of an entire era. In the midst of this storm, this explosion of bright colors and sparkling lights, everyone was looking for their own way, their own chance. But amidst it all, there was also a shadow. No matter how shiny the storefronts and billboards were, behind them were those who fell, who lost. Soldiers returning from war couldn't find their place in a world where boundaries were blurred and the world itself was ever-changing. Yet, they didn't give up. The hands that held weapons now built bridges, erected houses, earned their daily bread. Life in the cities wasn't easy. The cries of newsboys on the corner, the clamor of streetcars, faces tired yet still full of determination. Everything was new. Everything was hard. But in laying new bricks every day, building new dreams, there was a special strength, and these dreams continued to live in the children of those who once came from afar. Their future was tied to these great cities, but perhaps not in a way their parents had imagined. It was no longer just a fight for survival. It was an era when new horizons emerged from a difficult path full of disappointments. America, 1870 to 1920. It wasn't yet a country ready to rule the world, but it was a country that had begun to believe that anything was possible. Complex, multi-layered, uncertain, but real. At the crossroads of the past and the future stood people, unaware that even their simple steps would become part of a great history, and therein lay their strength, the strength to believe, to move forward, to fight, America at the beginning of the 20th century continued to change rapidly, but its spirit remained the same. It was a country where anything was possible if you were willing to work. In New York and Chicago, skyscrapers grew taller, cars grew faster, and voices in the newspapers and on street corners grew louder as everyone wanted to be heard. People from all over the world, from Europe to Asia, brought with them their dreams and sufferings. But here they could become something more. These foreign but full of life faces, overflowing with hope, became part of a new world. At that time, amidst the growth of cities and industrialization, there was no time for rest. In homes where the smell of freshly baked bread lingered, there was no silence. Workers, their faces hidden behind heavy collars, covered with sweat from fatigue, knew one thing: tomorrow would be the same. But there was pride in it, because each morning was a new opportunity. On the streets, thousands of people cast their votes for the future with their actions. Proletarians and entrepreneurs, workers and bankers, they were all part of a movement that created new trends and changed the very structure of society. But among the frantic pace of life, there were also those who dreamed of simplicity, of clean and quiet villages. They, like old family photographs, became part of the country that still remembered its past, despite the rapid changes. For women, these years became a time of new battles. Women became not only participants in public life, but also actresses on stage, activists fighting for their rights. They went to the streets, to rallies, demanding the right to vote, demanding equality. They didn't just wear dresses, they wore changes on their shoulders. In 1920, when they achieved the right to vote, it became not just a victory, but a milestone in the formation of a new America, where everyone could find their place, where every dream could be realized. And amidst it all, there was jazz, music that became the symbol of the era. It flooded the streets of New York, pierced the clubs of Chicago, filling life not only with joy, but also with freedom. In every chord, in every improvised fragment of this genre, there was a commitment to the principle: there are no boundaries for inspiration, no boundaries to being yourself. But despite all these stunning achievements, the country was not free from shadow. Veterans of the war couldn't find their place in a society that didn't know what to do with those who returned from war, leaving behind a world of pain and loss. And despite the growing capitalism and progress, many still faced poverty, unemployment, and social injustice. America in 1920 wasn't yet complete, but it had become a country that had begun to realize that despite its flaws and problems, its strength lay in believing in possibilities. A country that had just gone through several decades of upheaval, it had learned to build, to work, and to dream. And though its golden years had yet to come, it knew that everything built in the past was just the beginning. The faces of those who stood at the crossroads looking for their way were the faces of people in whom the spirit of America 1920 already lived. Their struggle, their work, their dreams, that was a foundation on which the country would grow further. And although many of them did not live to see the next era, their efforts, their traces, their history remained in what became America. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Leave your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time, and thanks for watching.